Good morning and welcome to the First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I am Linnea Nelson and I'm the worship chair here at 1U. Now also in worship today are Bev and Craig Alig, Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, Music Director Aubrey Connelly-Candelario, Board President Paul Knight, and the Rayford family. We also send heartfelt thanks to all of the 1U teams who support worship on Sunday mornings. Today we will be singing Our Children to RE after Time for All Ages. Youth are with us in the sanctuary and the nursery is available until 11:45. We welcome all to join us as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and development and compassionate service to the community. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. You are welcome here regardless of your color, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. You are welcome here. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. And today's special announcements include the food pantry at Joy MCC is 1U's Share the Plate recipient for the month of July. In addition to financial assistance, the pantry has requested specific food items such as canned soup, peanut butter, individual applesauce, fruit, snacks for kids, all of those things. Items will be collected at 1U before the services next Sunday and the Sunday after, July 23rd and 30th. I hope you will be generous with your donations. We have an invitation to visitors. Please join us in Gore Hall, across the way here, for Conversation Corner. It will be in the foyer during fellowship, so walk down to the end of the fellowship hall. We'll be chatting about the topic of the service and whatever attendees wish to discuss. Bring your beverage and let's get to know one another a little bit. And remember, the Holly Near concert is on September 9th. Get your tickets online. And now Judith has an exciting announcement for us.
Hey, I haven't seen y'all in ages. If you have not already heard, and you might have in my RE update, Tuesday, August 1st, our RE kids are invited to join in with the new Image Youth Center team and kids for a one-day fun camp here at 1U. Kids are to be here at 10 a.m. and they'll be here through till 2 p.m. There will be juggling and lessons how to, drumming, yoga, arts and crafts. Lunch will be supplied, and we're hoping that a bunch of our 1U families will join in the fun. Helpers and donations are also gladly accepted in various forms. Please refer to the email right there, or reach out to Steph Garber or Karen Ramberg for more information. Yay. Okay. All other announcements are on slides before and after the service and have links in the weekly update or on our website. If you would like to follow along to the service, please use the QR code shown on the monitor, ta-da, and on the first few slides. On behalf of Linnea, who started these announcements, thanks again for being here, and in person and online today.
Please say the words with me as we light the chalice. In the light of truth and in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing the opening hymn, number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. The words for all the hymns will be on the screen. I've adapted Julia Cameron's words for our call to worship today. In this aching world, full of pain, trauma, hardship, and tragedy, art matters. Art helps inspire tiny revolutions that keep us focused, keep us connected, and keep us present. Imagine if we prioritize the things that feed our spirit, that are deeply a part of the human experience, that tell our stories, that bring meaning to our lives. Creativity and artistic structures help make space so we can approach the difficult sideways, creating a shared experience through which we can connect and understand in relative safety. Thank you, Julia, for these words. Let's take a moment to greet one another. Welcome. So today we are going to invite you into something we do in the UU Wellspring Sacred Arts program each time that we meet. The type of art changes each time, but each type of art is connected to a spiritual lesson. And today, we're going to use the art of architecture. I'm so glad you asked. She said, what is that? This is not the technical answer, but it is all the buildings, walls, windows, floors, all the things you see around you that if we were to take, all the people out of here, all the chairs out of here, the piano, all of this stuff up here, we'd still be left with this architecture. So as we fill it up, we fill it with, maybe we want to consider our pews part of the architecture. Maybe when we think about that architecture of how we feel when we walk into a place, it is often the architecture that is helping us understand that. So as you look around, I'm going to invite you to take an adult, perhaps your parent, hand, or walk around, and Aubrey's going to be playing a little bit of music. And as you look around, you can look out the windows, but stay in this room. But you can look around. You can even walk up here if you want to. I'll be standing by the candle. So I want you to just get a feel for looking carefully at the architecture of this building. And if you look out the window, you might see Gore Hall, and you might want to look at that. We're not going over there. We're just looking at it. I invite all of you to do the same. Maybe you want to look carefully at the floor. Maybe you want to go back and look at the wall and see how the things are put together. So let's just take a moment to do that. Go ahead and wander around. Look at the things that you're drawn to. You can walk all the way in the back. As you've looked at what's important to you, go ahead and come on back to the rug. And I just asked the expert back here, Bev, on architecture, I said, is the furniture part of the architecture? And she said, it can be considered part of the internal architecture. So if you were looking at the pews and such, we'll count that as the architecture. So our ushers have some microphones, and do they have them back there? There you are. So I have a few questions, and they're going to be to the kids as well as to all of you. I want to know, what did you look at? What did you observe? Is there something that stood out to you? Can you grab her? She's got something to say. And the stripe. What did you look at? All around? I think it's everything, is it? The floor. Have you all looked at this floor lately? It's really beautiful. What else did you look at? Anybody else see something special that stood out to them? Okay, right here. Okay. We have a roof. So I grabbed that one. The roof. The roof. Everybody look up. That's pretty cool. And the bars that are holding up the roof.
The vent.
Ah, the vent. That is now silver. Who remembers what color it was before? Red. Red, and now it is silver. Anybody else? What did you look at over here?
It looks like somebody planned to put rough bricks in the middle of smooth bricks.
Ooh.
And I saw that back here too.
Interesting. Let's have one more. There's one back there. Oh, we'll get the child and then we'll come back to you.
That over there.
The window, that beautiful window. There's another one back here. Andy? Andy? We have one up.
The bevel ceiling.
A flowered dress. Here's Andy. He's got one for you. He's right behind you. Okay, Mom will help.
Esme and I were noticing the lights that hang down so far into the space.
Ooh, awesome. So now my next question, which Kathy started to touch on, is what seems creative to you? So that rough and smooth brick was creative. What else looks creative in here? Anybody, do you see anything creative? Okay, right here, Andy. Right there.
The pattern with the leaves.
Ah, the panels with the leaves that Bev created. Thank you. What else looks creative?
The beautiful eighth principle tapestry or quilt that was created. Thank you, Ben.
Excellent, thank you. That's back there if you haven't seen it. So one more, Judith.
I find that we're facing a corner interesting.
Ah, we're facing a corner, thank you. So now the big question, how do you feel when you walk into this building? Okay, can we have a microphone up here? We've got one right there. Right here.
Home.
Okay, you want to pass it to her? How do you feel when you come in here?
Warm.
Warm, is that what you said? Warm? Awesome. Did you have one? Anybody else? Anybody else? How do you feel back there?
I definitely feel safe.
Yes.
Comforted.
Comforted. Back there. I heard, I feel like I can be myself. One more? One more, right over here.
I feel loved.
Oh, thank you. We do love you. We love all of you. And so as you go out today, whether you're going to coffee after service or you're going to RE, look around. See what the architecture is. You might see the labyrinth. How does that make you feel? Was that creative? When you go to the other buildings, think about why are they over there? How does this all work? How does it make you feel? And I love your answers. That's how I feel too. So as we sing our children to our E, please rise if you're in the middle, and we're going to make a loving walkway for you to walk through to your RE classes as we sing This Little Light of Mine.
All right, where are we here? I first want to say it's so great to see all the kids here today on a Sunday, and the moms and dads. I want to thank you guys for bringing them out. I remember when mine were a little smaller, and it was hard to get them to come, but now they're all grown up. So where are we? Not too far. Yes, I'm Paul Knight, and I forgot who I was. and I'm the president of the Board of Trustees here at 1U. We invite you now to the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values, which sustains the life and ministries and programs of this church and the community within which we live. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our own needs as they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Today's collection will go to the ministries of this congregation, and note that you can also give online using the link. Each month we have a Share the Plate partner, and this month our Share the Plate partner for July is the Joy Metropolitan Community Church Food Pantry. The MCC is a neighboring church, and 1U members donate food and other items as requested by the MCC Pantry. Your generosity benefits others in need, and for that, we and they thank you. Please use the link in the newsletter or on the screen to donate directly to the Joy Metropolitan Community Food Bank. And if you do donate online, please let us know that you have donated. Our offering will now be collected.
Mama is a queen and Papa is a king, so I am a diva, I know it. I have not much use for the men that I meet. I quite burn with lyric ambition. To sing on the stage, that's the one life for me. I'd be a success, it's so easy. I know I'd win fame if I sang in La Boheme, that opera by Signor Puccini. I've roulades and the trills that would send the cold chills down the backs of all hearers of my vocal frills. I long to be a prima donna, donna, donna. I long to sing upon the stage. I have the bon-bon to become the king of song, and my figure would look pretty as a page. I long to hear them shouting viva to the diva. Oh, very lovely that must be. That's what I'm dying for, that's what I'm striving for. Art is calling for me. I long to be a prima donna, donna, donna. I long to shine upon the stage. I hate society, I hate propriety. Art is calling for me.
Wow, if that doesn't rile you up, I don't know what does. Thank you, Aubrey, as always. The music program is spectacular. So let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
Thank you, Paul and Aubrey. This is the time that we set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witnessed or help with, or have a joy that you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday morning during worship. You can send an email to joysandconcerns@orlandouu.org during the week, or if you're attending here in person, you can get a card from the welcome team and they will deliver it to us to read. And after the meditation, we will call you forward for our candle lighting ritual. Bring your joys and your sorrows as we come together. Come as you are. Your whole self is welcome in this sacred space that we are creating together. And our joys and concerns from this community today include Rachel Gardner's sister Sandy is in Mercy Rehab Hospital in St. Louis, Missouri, following a bad fall. Sandy broke her back and leg on June 29th, the first day of their travels to visit family. Rachel's been staying with her sister until she's stable enough to travel back home. And Ann Mount shares, my husband Jim and I are back in Brooklyn to celebrate my baby's, Juliana Dow's 40th birthday, and her baby's, Thessalonia's, first birthday. May they both feel wrapped in love, joy, health, and contentment on July 15th and in the coming year. And I'd like to share with you that my 84-year-old mother had a bad fall, and I was with her that last week for wrist surgery. She's recovering, and my brother is now taking this week with her. And Ann Patton celebrated her 86th birthday on Friday. Yay. And for all the joys and sorrows of this community and the world shared today, and for those held close to our hearts, let's pray, let's celebrate, and send each other healing energy as we find joy in using our creative spirits for good in this world. I invite you to take a breath or two that helps you to settle and ground into the space. Relax your body. Let your feet touch the ground if that is helpful to pull up the Mother Earth energy. Close your eyes if you wish, or soften your gaze. Our prayer today is adapted from a letter titled A Prayer for Artists by Reverend Micah Lucy. Dear curious and creative potential prophets, we're ready for you. Let's be clear, art doesn't immediately change things. We have to wrap our brains around that lest we get too full of ourselves. Art doesn't stop violence or erase pain or eradicate evil. It doesn't turn back time or protect bodies. Art doesn't do big things, and that's why no one will sustainably fund it. Art is actually a very small thing that does very small things. It's a gathering of tiny revolutions that sustain the larger ones. Its power comes from being minuscule and undetectable. Art doesn't stop the violence, but it starts the questioning of violence. Art doesn't erase the pain, but it names the pain. Art doesn't eradicate evil, but it tells the queer stories of another way. It stops time and protects souls because its power is microscopic, and the empire only knows how to deal with things it thinks it sees. You will start to create something today because you feel galvanized, and then you will hate it tomorrow. And then you will think you have nothing to offer, and then you will stop creating for a few days, and then something teensy will spark. And then the whole cycle will begin again. This is the reality of tiny things in a world that only responds to gigantic, blustery, bloated things. This is the plight of prophecy. But my cat just jumped on this keyboard and typed out this, get. And if my cat, who stays pretty apolitical most days, is taking this opportunity to use the devastation of these days and create something out of it, I can only imagine the astonishing things you have up your sleeves. Amen. Now we invite you forward to light a candle of remembrance, loving kindness, or hope as Aubrey plays.
Good morning, everyone. You look so different from up here. I made the mistake a little while ago reminding Linnea that I've just retired for the third time from doing research and development for 50 years. And she said, that's a lot like tinkering. So would you do the reading today? And I said, certainly. It's by Reverend Dr. Sandra Fees, a UU minister and author, and she writes, one of the best ways I have found to get in touch with his creative spirit, to think and do things that reach beyond myself, is through tinkering. We need to spend more time tinkering with things. We need to spend more time playing around with ideas and objects, with allowing ourselves to fiddle with things without knowing the exact result, getting in touch with hopes and dreams and allowing ourselves to be nourished in the process. My mother always described my grandfather, Avery Connelly, her father, as a tinkerer. He liked to go out to his workshop and fiddle around. He made things with his hands from wood. I have a small butterfly shelf he made. He just enjoyed doing these things without any sense of real purpose. He made things, but it didn't matter what he made. It was a hobby, you could say, but also a kind of meditation, a way of being present in the moment. It was a time to play and explore and to be curious. Just watch what children do with blocks, musical toys, or a box of crayons. They are great tinkerers, and we thank Reverend Dr. Sandra Fees for those words.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Beverly Alig, and I'm a member here at 1U. I've loved all sorts of arts since I was a child. As a teenager, I used to ride the train into Philadelphia, the Reading Line, to spend a day at the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I also loved architecture and was delighted when I was able to travel around the country and different parts of the world to see some amazing structures. These works, whether Frank Lloyd Wright's masterpiece, Falling Water, or Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, the Mona Lisa, always managed to touch my soul in a soothing or challenging way. I marveled at the craftsmanship of the work, wondered about what inspired the artist or the architect, what technical difficulties the creator had to overcome, what kind of life that person had. It always opened up a whole new world to me. And so on that day, in 2006, when I first walked into the Charles Hosmer Morse Museum of American Art, right up the street here in Winter Park, I was enthralled. The dimly lit foyer and the cold air conditioning of the Morse was such a contrast to the bright, sunny, hot day outside. As I wandered through the galleries, the color and the light from the incredible collection of stained glass was mesmerizing. Not only the stained glass windows and the famous Tiffany lamps, but paintings, jewelry, decorative art items, an entire chapel were on display. Each piece was a delight to view. I found myself losing track of time, and I soon realized that I had no thoughts of my worries. The outside world was a million miles away. Before I left there on that first visit, I asked at the reception desk if the museum had a volunteer program. I was already on my way to becoming a docent. As I studied to be a docent, many of the questions that I mentioned earlier were answered. I learned a great deal about Louis Comfort Tiffany, his life, his challenges, the world around him, what inspired him. I also studied other artists of the late 19th and early 20th century. Everything I learned just enhanced the experience of viewing the art. During the pandemic, the museum, like many other public buildings, was closed. Docent tours ceased. So many things had been taken away from all of us during that time, and I felt the loss of the museum to my core. I was ecstatic when the museum announced it would reopen, and I was the first visitor to return. I arrived at the appointed time, the first appointment of the day, and had the whole museum to myself, except for the ever-present guards and a staff person at the reception desk. Tears ran down my cheeks as I walked from gallery to gallery, letting my eyes soak in the beauty. It filled me better than any meal I have ever had. I felt restored. It offered hope to the dreariness of my pandemic world. Today, once again, I enjoy sharing not only the amazing art in the museum, but the stories behind it, the life and times of Tiffany and the dozens of other artists featured in the museum. Every time I walk into the museum, my world of worries, fears, and challenges all fall away. It is truly a meditative, spiritual experience for me. To quote the late director of the Morse Museum, Larry Ruggiero, there is no right or wrong way to appreciate art. Art is sensory and emotional before it is intellectual or academic. All art sincerely made deserves sincere consideration. Art need not be what convention has deemed masterpiece to have the profound power to enhance people's lives. I am delighted to be co-facilitating the Sacred Arts Wellspring class this fall. I invite those of you who have taken the Sources class to consider joining me in exploring how art in all its incredible forms touches your soul. Not only will we look at paintings, architecture, sculpture, and other visual arts, we will listen to music, enjoy dance, theater, comedy, pottery, sewing, literature, and more to see where our imaginations take us. Yes, we will get to make some of our own art with pure joy and no critics anywhere around. You know there's doodles on the pages of meeting notes you take? Yep, that counts. That novel you just know you have in you? Yep, that counts. The quilt you made or the one you cherish from your grandma? The flower pot your child brought home from summer camp, made especially for you? Yep, that's all art too. We all enjoy and appreciate art, however we define it. This class will allow us to look at art more closely, see how it enriches our lives and touches our souls. I look forward to sharing these experiences with you. Thank you.
So again, Julia Cameron writes in her book, The Artist Way, creativity is a spiritual force, the force that drives the green fuse through the flower, as Dylan Thomas defined his idea of the life force. It's the same urge that drives us toward creation. There is a central will to create that is a part of our human heritage and potential. Because creation is always an act of faith, and faith is a spiritual issue, so is creativity. As we strive for our highest selves, our spiritual selves, we cannot help but be more aware, more proactive, and more creative. Thank you, Julia, for those words. So as I studied to be a spiritual director, one of the options was to attend the Arts Lodge to process both the skills and knowledge we were learning, and more importantly, the transformational changes we were experiencing. Since I did not and have not ever seen myself as an artist, I assumed I would avoid the Arts Lodge at all costs. However, there was one mandatory class that all cohorts had to participate in. Our guide warmly invited us in, knowing full well that many of us were a little terrified. She shared some poetry about the power of art to ground us, prepare us, process what we were learning, and to go far deeper than we could with our words. Since my training included a dive into Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist of the last century, his works, who felt the most direct line to discovering our inner wisdom and our souls was not through words, but rather symbols and images. To let go of words and let art speak to me felt like jumping off a cliff. Words are my lifeline to what is real and imagined, what is dear to me and how I connect with others. Yet I realized whenever I was asked to explain my spiritual life, my relationship to God or the universe, or even what I believed to be true, words never seemed to be enough. So with the help of my newfound friends in my spiritual direction cohort, many of whom were as nervous as I was, we explored the art materials, many of which I had not seen since my middle school art class, where I and the teacher decided I was not an artist. But once again, the calm music came on and the colorful bits of yarn, twigs and trees, paints crayons, sparkly pom-poms, and all manner of torn paper, markers, and so many other things, all available to touch and choose from. I chose some unlikely items and put them together, not knowing what might appear. And lo and behold, a nest of sorts came together. As I processed what my hands seemed to be creating without any direction from me, or so it seemed, I rested in the knowledge that this nest was a sacred space, and that was me. I was learning how to create a safe and holy place for people to bring their most precious thoughts. And then Not for Prime Time Nest solidified the concept for me in a way that words never could. That was the meaning of the lectures, the books, the small group discussions, and rituals among my friends that I was experiencing in my training. It was no longer about the tools that I was learning, but rather what they all added up to. As a spiritual director, I understood through this artistic creation that I was doing important work. This work was to birth other people's spiritual awakenings, and that deep understanding would not have come to me in that way without creating art and taking the time to wonder and explore its meaning. So now, whether I've created a piece of art or I'm experiencing art, I am far more likely to pause, to let the art touch my heart and open me to a new way of being, a deeper understanding of joy, purpose, love, gratitude, and any other feeling that arises from the art. This has certainly made my life more meaningful, and now I know that when I need to figure something out, I can turn to paper and clay and scraps of paper and photography or any other lost items that might hold a meaning that otherwise would be invisible to me. So please rise, embody your spirit, and join us in singing 1024, When the Spirit Says Do. The words, of course, will be on the screen. that we had some dancing folks here today. Thank you. And I could hear the choir over there. Please say these words with me as, oh, sorry. I need to give that to somebody else. I'm the benediction. Today, may you feel the pull of creativity as you explore your life and your spirit. May beauty and art surround you and fill you with life. And as we go out to serve the world, may being creative lead us deeper into what is sustaining us in the world that we love.
Please say these words with me as we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our call today is to explore our own spirituality through the arts. You can boost this connection by joining our fall 1U UU Wellspring group called Sacred Arts. Or if you haven't yet taken the prerequisite program of sources, we have a men's group of sources meeting in the fall. Look for Dan or John, me or Joan after the service, or sign up at Gabby's table. Just a note about Sacred Arts. Although it invites artistic endeavors, most of the program invites you to observe and engage in art, from cooking to comedy, poetry to photography, and architecture to textiles. There's something for everyone to ground yourselves in spirituality by experiencing art.